Hello, Popcorn Junkies. Welcome to this reaction to a new teaser for a show that we started to review. There wasn't really much interest. I'm not even entirely sure there was much interest in watching it, but because it was such a critical success, season 2 is coming back, and that series is Severance. Have you seen it? Did you watch it? Is this going to be another one of those sort of series or ideas or shows that is incredibly good, but because so many people are so stupid, they just choose not to look at it, watch it, go to it, and thus it ends up dying a death? This is the show spearheaded by, bizarrely, Ben Stiller. He directed and kind of conceived the original series and directed some of the episodes of the first season. It's a brilliant show in which you have individuals working for a company called, is it Lumon? And then you have an innie person and you have an outie person. So each character or each person has them that lives, breathes and works, and there's the other them, which is the outie, who lives, breathes and lives their outer life. But they are severed, so they never know what the life of each other half of themselves is. So the innie doesn't know what goes on for the outie in them, and the outie doesn't know what goes on for the innie. And therein lies the sort of the dramatic rub of the show, because we're following these main characters. Our two main characters really are Mark, played by Adam Scott, and Helly, played by Britt Lower. She is sensational. So is Adam Scott. Brilliant performances. You've also got John Turturro in there as Irving, and you've got Zach Cherry playing Dylan. So these are our various innies. These are the ones who we follow inside, and they are intrigued by and they are troubled by their outies. And really the dramatic kind of, it's like a dramatic sort of, like with a seesaw. The fulcrum, is it? The pivot point is the balancing act between the innie and the outie, and the extent to which these employees get to know or find out what their outie selves are and why they've decided to have the severance. Why did they decide to be severed? But of course, it's where these two innie-outie worlds kind of rub up against each other. It's where they get little kind of eruptions of one side and the other. But what this show also speaks to is that whole idea of what is the life-work-life balance? What should it be? You know, the fact that all our innies, all our characters are inside inputting data into these computers, and the data is total kind of gobbledygook and seems to serve no purpose. This is also a really existential series. If you haven't watched it, it kind of speaks to the futility of life. It speaks to the way in which HR departments, human resources departments, kind of control everyone's destinies inside work. And then outside work, you're sort of meandering around in a limbo almost of inconsequential relationships. And yet you can't help but feel that this whole show speaks to something that ultimately society would love to be able to do. You just switch on your consciousness at work so you're only thinking about work. That's the idea. So you don't challenge anything, you don't question anything. You're subservient. And then you're switched off as you go back in the elevator back into your old life, and you'll never query what it is you're doing in your job. So it's quite chilling. It's Kafkaesque. It's apocalyptic. It asks questions about what our roles are in life. Do we work to live, or do we live to work? And what is work anyway, other than being a slave to someone else making money? So it's all about corporate kind of facelessness. It's all about doing things for the corporate good, even if you don't know what that corporate good is. And what is it all about? Who's driving this? Is this a portrait of hell? Is hell not red and burning, but just white long corridors? I think it might be.
Everything they told you about Severance is a lie.
I give consent to sever my memories between my work life and my personal life.
We're not happy. We're miserable.
What is it we actually do here? My wife. She's alive! Who are you people?
Welcome back, Marcus. Been a minute.
Come and join the
Another group of interns have entered the office. Milchek is there, still carrying balloons. He's so camp and sinister, isn't he? Running around the corridors. I think the thing that this series has to do, which is very challenging, is it has to remain as original and as innovative as the first season. You know that thing that I often say when something people try and aim for being viral or try to be viral. Viral just happens, and I think successes just happen. You know, like The Bear, that series, it was brilliant, and then the second series, it was aware that it was brilliant and then tried to kind of retread in the same footsteps as the first season with, you know, some success, but it had a self-consciousness. A self-consciousness creeps in. And I think although this is already quite a self-conscious kind of thing because of what it's about and the way it's acted and the way it's shot, the worry is that it could become even too self-conscious about its own cleverness. And I think it needs to watch that. There's a lot, you know, corridors are good. There's a lot of corridors. But Adam Scott, you know, I forgot, he's discovered that his wife is alive. So that's an interesting thread. You've got this fabulous shot of John Turturro's head as a melon. It reminded me of Mark Quinn's Blood Head. That was fantastic. It's very funny on all the motifs of office life, you know, like the office party and office snacks and the awkwardness and the small talk. It's an incredibly great series for the small talk of being in an office and officiousness. And in fact, what's great about it is because these characters have had their personal lives severed from their professional lives, what you discover is that when they're left just to talk about the professional lives, they're so boring. It's so boring. But again, it's this Kafkaesque sense of being trapped, being controlled, being monitored. You know, it's that sort of administrative, almost civil service type Big Brother-like, you know, Big Brother is watching you type thing. So it speaks to something that, you know, it's not an incredibly new idea, but it is really nifty, this idea of technology that injected allows you to sever, or allows your employer to sever your work life from your personal life. Anyway, that looks great. Like the use of music, like all our kind of, you know, return of all our characters. What do you think, guys? Are you excited?